Playing Niv Magus Elemental combo, a deck that he played at Pro Tour Return to Ravnica, which was modern. We did not have that much success with it, unfortunately, because the deck could not beat Jund, but admittedly, it could beat everything else. Now, this deck originally came from, it's a Gerry Thompson brew that Greg Hatch had gotten his hands on. He has played in some tournaments, played in Grand Prix Denver, played at Star City Games Open Series in Las Vegas last year. So, this is what we're working with here. We've got 4 Niv Magus Elementals, 4 Kiln Fiends. You see a Gitaxian Probe, so Jerry's going to see exactly what he's up against, which is a burn deck.
He's up against, Brett Rose playing mono red burn.
Yes.
A man after Patrick Sullivan's heart.
Absolutely. Even with that ugly mountain, which I'm sure Patrick loves right now. But Jerry's deck is all of these cheap cantrips that Niv Magus Elemental can eat or can pump Kiln Fiend, and then you can actually kill them in one, on turn 2 or turn 3, depending on your draw. And the reason for that versus what he couldn't do in Modern is he has 4 copies of Berserk. So that's the big thing that really changes things here. That's why you're going to see Tropical Island in his deck, and this is a deck that plays 11 lands as well. So this is a little wild.
And many of them fetch lands, right?
Yes. He's got 3 Misty Rainforests, 3 Wooded Foothills, and then he's got 2 Trops, 2 Volcanic Islands, and 1 Taiga.
So his mana base is more fragile than Rug Delvers.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I don't think he has any interest in wanting to play against a Wasteland.
Now, Niv Magus Elemental can eat your own spells on the stack, so to speak, and then Kiln Fiend is a card I myself have championed in Pauper. It's a fantastic 2-drop. I believe it's a 1/2 to start off with, and then every spell that you cast is going to trigger and get bigger. There we go, Kiln Fiend. Yeah, it's 1/2 for 2 mana. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, it gets +3/+0. So that's a lot of damage there, potentially. A lot of damage from the Magus Elemental, especially if you get to Berserk one of them. I myself, since it's Pauper, I prefer Assault Strobe as my kill of choice.
Okay, alright. So you see a Goblin guy there from Rose. Jerry thought about it for a while. He is going to force will removing Fluster Storm. He's going to untap, he's going to draw. Niv Magus Elemental is something that he did fine with Ponder, but he chose to keep on the top. That is the way that this deck wins. But the interesting thing here is that against the old red deck, it actually has a hard time killing Niv Magus Elemental because it starts as a 1/2, and it's pretty easy for Jerry to make it into a 3/4.
Yeah, but he passes the turn here. We do see a land grant in his hand.
He could have played Land Grant, and then with that on the stack, he could have eaten that Land Grant to make this into 3/4. But the cards you see in Jerry's hand right now, he does have a Gut Shot over there, so he can get a little tricky with the old Gut Shot. Now here's our Grim Lavamancer, so maybe that's just worth Gut Shotting. We'll see how Jerry wants to play it.
So Brett Rose also stuck at 1 land here, just that lone mountain.
And I really think that this favors Jerry because now what he can do is he can play Land Grant, hold priority, eat that. He can play Gut Shot, hold priority, eat that, and then he can play a Apostle's Blessing, hold priority, and eat that if he wants to. So he is going to actually eat the Land Grant and make this into a 3/4 to start.
Right, so he cast Land Grant for the alternate cost there of revealing his hand and showing that there are no lands in his hand, but then instead of letting it resolve, he's going to activate the Niv Magus Elemental and add 2 counters. He has not gone for the Gut Shot play. He has Gut Shot and Apostle's Blessing, so both of those utilizing Phyrexian mana.
Yeah, the scary thing is that he has to take damage for this Gut Shot. He still, even though he eats it, even though he eats it, he still has to take damage. So he's going to come across for 5 here, knocking himself down to 14, knocking Rose down to 15, but he actually paid for the Gut Shot. You'll see how you tap the red mana, so instead of actually using the Phyrexian mana, he has paid for it.
But that puts his Apostle's Blessing shield down.
Yeah.
But all Brett Rose can do is suspend a Rift Bolt here, so he is going to try to stack up some extra damage, 3 damage from the Rift Bolt, and then 2 damage from the Grim Lavamancer next turn, but the Niv Magus Elemental, no, he goes for the Chump Block.
And against Jerry's deck, where he's got a 5-power guy attacking, as Thompson's going to do sack a fetch land, search out a non-basic, opening himself up the price of progress a little bit here. But he's already chump blocking his Rose because he is scared of just getting pounded by a big Niv Magus Elemental. And when you're stuck on mana, Riki, you don't really have the opportunity to activate Grim Lavamancer and do other things as well.
Right, a 6 toughness creature against red, 6 toughness 1-drop, giving him a lot of trouble here.
Yeah.
And all he can do, he's still stuck on that lone mountain. He plays another Grim Lavamancer. You have to think that he's going to chump block again, as he did last turn. Sends the Rift Bolt to the Dome. Gerry Thompson's at 12. That's still a healthy amount of life here against the red deck. And again, yeah, the chump block with the Grim Lavamancer. Gerry just says take 1 from the Kiln Fiend. And adds another Kiln Fiend, so representing a lot of damage if he casts any spells next turn.
Yeah, Apostle Blessing is going to represent 6 damage by itself.
And he could also eat it with the Elemental. Now, you cast a spell, it triggers the Kiln Fiends, you can still exile it to the Niv-Magus Elemental in response.
Yep. See, Kiln Fiend and Niv-Magus Elemental, they play well together. Kiln Fiend is really an Izzet card.
It is.
If it could be reprinted today, it would be in the Izzet Guild.
I mean, it's essentially a Wee Dragonauts, which was in the Izzet Guild in the original Ravnica block.
So Thompson going to draw a card, draws another land, but that's okay, because we're looking at the Blessing would make it 6, 7, 8 from the Kiln Fiends, and then Niv-Magus Elemental being 5 is 13, plus it eats it, so it would be able to finish him off if he does decide to go for it, or he can just play it steady, stay at 12. He's got Rose on a 2-turn clock anyway, so really, what's the big rush,
he doesn't
right?
want to open himself up to a Lightning Bolt blowing him out there on one of his Kiln Fiends. And Brett Rose does have the Lightning Bolt and goes to Dome.
Now, Thompson, oddly enough, could have died this turn. If Rose were to draw land and, you know, go Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Fire Blast you, that's it. So maybe it was correct for Gerry to try to move in that turn. That's the big question.
Chain Lightning targeting one of the Kiln Fiends, so Brett Rose does not have that kill. Yeah, the Fire Blast kills from mono red burn decks we've seen in the past can just come out of nowhere.
So Apostle's Blessing with the Phyrexian mana. As you said, he's going to trigger the Kiln Fiend, then he's going to eat it with Niv-Magus Elemental and finish Rose off. So Gerry Thompson does win game number 1 here with the old Niv-Magus combo deck, which he just can't seem to get away from when he is playing Magic.
As you said, it's on his bucket list.
Yes.
When you play as much Magic as Gerry Thompson does, I guess you get tired of winning all the time.
Sometimes you have the urge to brew.
Yeah.
I know what that's like. Sometimes you just want to play a little something new, a little something spicy. You know, it's very easy for Gerry to come to this tournament with his Shardless Bug deck in hand. He always has it built and at the ready. But he's been playing that deck for the past 2-3 months. Time to mix it up a little bit, and that's what he's doing this weekend.
And wouldn't it be that much sweeter if he managed to win with this deck, right?
I agree.
So why not take that shot every couple of months? Enjoy yourself too. It's a fun deck. It looks like a fun deck to play.
It's definitely a hard
very
deck to
quick.
play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought Gerry would have a lot of problems here against the red deck because of all the burn, and he only has the 8 creatures. But he played very carefully, set up the Niv-Magus Elemental, made sure that Brett could not kill it on the turn where he played it and grew it.
And Niv-Magus Elemental is very difficult for mono red to be able to deal with. Again, it's just it gets so big so fast, and as you said, red-based damage against a 6 toughness creature that costs 1 mana, they can't really shoot that thing down. That's what black removal is often for, pacifism type effects in white. And when you're playing against a burn deck like Brett Rose is playing, it's going to be difficult for him to be able to take down that Niv-Magus Elemental. But we will look at his sideboard because he actually does have a useful tool against Niv-Magus Elemental.
He's got 4 red elemental blasts, and that Niv-Magus Elemental is a hybrid card. It is both red and blue, so red elemental blast can take it out in 1 shot for a red mana. Absolutely, Brett Rose has to bring those in. The rest of his sideboard, smashed to smithereens, no artifacts of note. Searing Blaze, probably not relevant here, not enough damage, not enough potential to kill the elemental. Forced Surgical Extraction. If you can pull off somehow killing the elemental, do you just extract them all and then leave him with 4 Kiln Fiends that are pretty much useless against a burn deck?
Yeah, I mean, if you think the matchup is that bad, you can try to go that route of board against Surgical Extraction. I think, you know, that's more of a desperate times, desperate measures type scenario. Where I don't think things are that bad yet for Brett Rose, where he has to try that sort of approach. Again, he only had 1 land that game, so he didn't really get to play very much Magic, and had he drawn another land on that last turn of the game, he potentially could have killed Thompson by playing 2-3 damage burn spells and casting a Fire Blast. So I don't think he needs to take that desperate of a route just yet, but we'll see what he decides as he is sideboarding right now. We'll look at Gerry's sideboard. He's got 2 Sylvan Libraries, he has a Dryad Arbor, 1 Bayou, 4 Cabal Therapies, 2 Gutshot, 2 Abrupt Decay, 1 Pyroclasm, and 2 Talrand Sky Summoner. a 4-drop
And a
in
deck,
an 11 land deck.
and a deck with only 5 real lands
Yes.
that tap for mana.
Yes.
So he has to get 4 out of his 5 lands to cast these Talrans.
Now he does have Land Grant, and he does have 4 copies of Lotus Petal. So it's not impossible, because he does have more mana sources, but I think the word I would use to describe Talron is a bit ambitious. Now, looking at his sideboard, again, you know, the cards that I think he might want to board in here are Sylvan Library, in case he wants to try to go a little bit longer and help facilitate his Niv Magus Elementals and his Kiln Fiends. We can also see him board in more Gut Shots. They are really good against Grim Lavamancer and helping Niv Magus Elemental, but outside of that, you look at Brett Rose's deck list, Goblin Guide, Keldon Marauders, and Vexen Devil, not very good against any of that stuff. And then Abrupt Decay is actually perfectly reasonable.
Abrupt Decay, yeah, that's probably the card Gerry needs to bring in. Brett wishes he had access to Abrupt Decay.
Oh yeah. That's what makes playing this deck so difficult, is because Abrupt Decay is such a relevant legacy card now that, you know, oftentimes, you know, what a deck like this can do is just force of will the Swords of Plowshares and keep on going, but Thompson can't do that because with Abrupt Decay, because it can't be countered.
But he does have Apostle's Blessing, giving protection. Can counter it via game rules, not via spell effect.
And some people have actually gone towards, you know, Gerry is playing Apostle's Blessing. I know that Greg Hatch was giving the old Mizium Skin a try.
Mizium Skin.
But he's been known to go a little deep on occasion.
So Gerry is going to ponder here. Looks at the top 3 cards of his library. Consults his hand again to see, do I want these 3 cards, and in what order do I want them?
He doesn't seem thrilled by this Ponder, at least from what I can see. Again, Ponder is a very difficult card to set up. You know, you're sequencing not just this turn, but the next couple of turns as well with the Ponder, so it certainly should take a little while to resolve.
So he keeps with the Ponder, grabs a Berserk, and then casts a Land Grant to get rid of those other 2 cards. So he's going to get his 2nd land here, put it into his hand, and he has 2 more Land Grants.
And this lets him shuffle off a Ponder. I think that's the big deal.
Lets him shuffle off of Ponder, and he has 2 more Brainstorms in his hand that he can shuffle off of. So he does not, as of yet, have a creature to commit to the board, but he has a lot of searching and card drawing ability to sift through the top of his library multiple times.
And again, the only card that he really wants to find is Kiln Fiend.
Now Brett Rose, meanwhile, suspended a turn 1 Rift Bolt, 3 damage to Gerry.
How about another one?
Another one, sure. Maybe another? No, Lava Spike. 3 damage right here, right now.
Bonk. Alright, Thompson draws a Brainstorm.
And now this is a game where Brett certainly has the advantage. He's got already representing 9 damage.
Yep.
And all Gerry is doing is looking for something to do as of yet.
It looks like right now, because Gerry did find a Kiln Fiend, it looks like he's trying to set up a turn 4 kill. Again, because he has already used one of his mana. He has no way to actually generate 2 mana on this turn because he does not have a Lotus Petal, so he's probably going to have to play the Tropical Island, cast another Land Grant to 1, shuffle his library, 2, search for a Volcanic Island, and then next turn cast the Kiln Fiend. At least that's what I think is going to happen.
So, plays the land, Tropical Islands, he empties his hand of lands, now Land Grant can be cast for its alternate cost yet again. Does so, reveals no lands. Gonna go get something.
So he's gonna go get a Taiga instead of Volcanic Island. The funny thing here too is, you know, as Gerry only has actual 5 lands in his deck, 2 Tropical Islands, 2 Volcanic Islands, and 1 Taiga to go along with those 6 fetch lands. Price of Progress is actually pretty good against him. He doesn't have any basics.
Okay, so passes the turn, has the ability to Brainstorm again in the end step. And here comes 3 more damage from the 2nd Rift Bolt, taking Gerry Thompson to 9. I'm sorry, 11. No problems with his mana this game. Brett Rose has 3 lands. And that's a lot of damage that he could be representing here.
It's pretty scary. Here's Kiln Fiend. So Gerry's setting up the one-shot kill if he can get to it. All he has right now, I think, is Daze for protection. But he does have, as you said, a Brainstorm.
Yeah, he could Brainstorm into a Force of Will, or an Apostle's Blessing here if Brett decides to go for the kill on the Kiln Fiend.
Now, what I want to see if Gerry's going to go for the kill this turn.
20 damage in one hit.
Well, Berserk does make it easy.
What is it going to take here? How much? Alright, he's going to start with Brainstorm. He points to the Kiln Fiend. Don't forget your triggers.
Alright, so now it's a 4.
Four.
And Gerry draws a Force of Will off of that Brainstorm. Yeah, it's super important.
That Kiln Fiend. If Brett Rose only has one instant speed removal spell. Gonna cast. Okay, so he's gonna have to show the Force of Will now, revealing for land grant.
Not even gonna search.
Doesn't bother getting a land.
Yeah, just wants to shuffle his deck. Clear out that Brainstorm. Looks to me like he might be casting Gataxian Probe this turn. He wants to draw a new card from the things that he put back with Brainstorm. Kiln Fiend currently has 7 power, by the way.
And so I'm guessing he didn't get a land there because...
Price of Progress.
Yeah, Price of Progress is one thing.
Okay,
so
Kiln Fiend's up to a 10 power creature.
Takes a look. Red Elemental Blast, good against the Magus Elemental. Not good enough here against the Kiln Fiend.
And there's
Cast
a Berserk.
The Berserk. It's going to trigger yet again, go to 13. And then get big.
And that's a that's a world of damage, and that's it.
I got nothing.
So Gerry Thompson, off the back of a Kiln Fiend that game, not Niv Magus Elemental, as that would not have gotten it done, does win this match 2-0. Wins on turn 4 that game. And defeats Brett Rose playing mono red 2-0. So Gerry Thompson gonna move along to 2-1.